There was a season where we were first married. We could go a month without having sex.
Wait, when you were first married? See,
Yeah, when we were first married, we would go a month without having sex. But then there was other seasons where we felt so connected. Our body, spirit, and soul were so healthy.
and she couldn't take her eyes off you.
Exactly.
It's
It
all
was just
she
like,
wanted
babe,
was
this is
you.
getting unhealthy.
Because I think sometimes, especially when you're single, you can kind of think like, when we're going to be married, it's going to be awesome. Sex is a 10 out of 10 every time. And I go, sometimes it's a 10 and that's awesome.
Yeah.
But hey, it's like, sometimes it's not a 10, but it was awesome. And sometimes it was like a 2 or 3 and you thought, that's okay.
We'll get them next time.
We'll get them next time. That's great.
Next time. The single mind cannot comprehend a 2 or 3.
That's true.
They're like, that. How does that happen?
I feel like we hear that all the time as men are so visual. Women should dress like this because men are visual, or, fill in the blank. Everyone says it in plain terms. When someone says men are visual, what does that actually mean? This statistic honestly blows my mind a little. 89.5% of the people who watch or listen to this podcast regularly aren't yet subscribers to the show. So before we dive in, could I ask you one thing? If this podcast has ever helped you, if you care about honest, unfiltered conversations around God's design for sex, dating, and relationships, would you hit subscribe? It's free and it helps us more than you know. And our promise to you is this: we'll do everything in our power to make this show the best it can be. We'll take your feedback, we'll keep answering your toughest questions, and there's no conversation around God's design for sex and relationships that we'll shy away from. Thank you. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Let's Talk About It podcast by Moral Revolution. My name is Ellis Madry. I am joined today by my husband, Daniel Madry, and we've got Elijah Valentin in the studio with us. We've got Saul Roberts in the studio with us. And here's the deal. We're having a really fun conversation today on how guys are wired. I feel like half the comments we get in the comment section are just from women who are trying to understand the mind of a man. And let me say this: the minds of men, I don't know if they're as complicated as women make them out to be. Maybe the mind of a woman is as complicated as we make it out to be. We should do a separate episode on that. But this is what we're going to do. We're going to dive into this conversation today. We're going to talk about, are men really that visual? How much do men actually think about sex? So we're going to go there. But here's the deal. All 3 of these guys, I chose them pretty strategically, and here's why. They're all young, married. And here's what I would say about this: married long enough to somewhat understand the minds of their wives, and young married enough to remember what it was like to date in this century.
I wouldn't be so confident on saying the
understanding the minds of your wives.
the minds of the wives, but continue.
But Elijah remembers what it feels like to be single.
I love it. Yeah. The necessary disclaimers are, all of them are in happy, healthy marriages. And so we're going to, kind of approach this conversation today from the mindset of maybe a wife can get some insight into how her husband is thinking, but hopefully some single women can get some insight into how the guys in their lives are thinking as well. I also think it's worth saying that these are some of the most upstanding, Christ-loving men I know. And so we're approaching all of this from a perspective of, we want healthy, godly, connected relationships that eventually turn into marriages. But I feel like the other disclaimer is, these are some of the most unhinged people that I know as well. And so I'm sure that the conversation is just going to go
It's been known to happen.
directions. Yeah, it's been known to happen.
Why did both of you guys look at me?
Okay.
You notice we didn't all turn and look at you.
I just know it's
That's
a lot easier to say I'm sorry than it is to ask for permission. So I just
my
live
gosh.
life from that way.
Okay, here's the deal. We're going to dive in. We almost always start with a rapid fire, but we are going to dive in today with some true or false questions, just to kind of get inside y'all's minds. Y'all ready? True or false? Men think about sex constantly.
I mean, false.
Yeah, false.
True.
Okay. True or false? If a man really loved a woman, the physical stuff wouldn't matter that much to him.
False.
Yeah, false.
False.
Okay. True or false? A man watching porns means his wife isn't enough.
False.
False, yeah.
False.
True or false? Men are less emotional than women.
True. No, I'm joking. Depends on your wife.
Yeah.
Expression, perhaps. Emotional, false.
Okay.
Yeah, I would say false too.
Okay, so you feel a lot of emotions, but you don't express them as much.
I feel like men just express differently, but we're maybe more accustomed to the women's expression.
Sure.
So we would think, yeah, men are less emotional, but that's probably a bit of a cultural norm.
Okay. Okay, true or false? Once a man is married, he stops noticing other women.
False.
True.
This is a trap.
I'm like, my wife's gonna watch this. It's definitely false.
Yeah, I would say false.
Okay. True or false? Guys are always the ones who want sex more.
False. Wife's a fiend.
False.
False.
I didn't become a dad by choice.
Oh.
No, I'm joking. I did.
Oh my gosh. True or false? A man who's attracted to you will always make the first move.
False. Like,
False.
is anything true here?
Yeah, I'm gonna go false.
Yeah,
I think
false.
that the definition of like maybe a man at his best, maybe true.
There's
Okay.
a man who's listening to this who's
Yeah.
going to be set free.
Yeah.
Set
you
free to pursue.
Okay, true or false? Men don't care about romance. They just care about sex.
True. No, I'm joking.
I was like, right.
False.
I was doing the logic in my head and I was like, wait, what?
False, but I think the romance is probably different. You know what I mean?
Okay. All
Yeah,
right.
that's true.
In my mind, romance and sex goes hand in hand when you're married.
Okay. Fair evaluation.
Dude, my wife is in the room, okay, bro? Don't be setting these unrealistic standards.
True or false? If he's not initiating, he's not interested.
False.
Yeah, I would say false.
Yeah, false.
Wow. True or false? Men are intimidated by successful, competent women.
False. False nation?
Yeah, it's false. But
Dude,
it's not that it doesn't exist. Like,
no,
I
it
think it
definitely,
depends.
It definitely does exist, but I'm like, babe, get out there. Dude,
Come
I would
on.
love to retire.
Well, I think there is something that for sure women tell other women, which is he's not asking you out because he's intimidated by you. Like men are intimidated by strong women. Do you think that's true or false?
I think it depends how the woman carries herself. If she's going into a room and is bulldozing everyone because of her income status or because she's a businesswoman or an entrepreneur, then yeah, that may come off in a way where it's like, okay, sure, this woman is successful, but she bulldozes every room she's in.
Sure.
Honestly, it
So
sounds
it's-
like she's mean.
But I think success in itself kind of has that either way, man or girl. Like if you're successful to what other people think, it already feels like, ooh, I should be successful if I'm going to go with you. I should feel confident. I don't know if that's such a bad thing.
Like there's a barrier here.
Yeah.
Like I'm not allowed, like you're out of my league.
Is there
It's
an
a different way of
yeah,
saying that.
There's probably an unhealthy way to do it. And there's probably a healthy way to be successful and be like, yeah, like you don't create any barrier. There's certainly not anybody that you wouldn't love or talk to. But like, yeah, if you're a 10 successfully as a woman and some people are intimidated by you, you might attract the right guy. Somebody who's actually, can we say has the balls?
Yeah.
That could be a good thing. I just mean,
Let me
it's not
see.
always a negative.
No, I think we can say has the balls.
Oh my gosh. Let's keep
I will say there is something
True.
super attractive when there is a woman who's single that's crushing it and you're in a similar season
Sure.
and they're going for it, going after life, chasing success, and versus someone who's not.
I
Sure.
absolutely agree. I think if a woman is crushing it, like as a man, I look at that and I'm like, oh, that's very attractive. So like I see why there would be that conversation of they're intimidated by you. But I think Elijah's right. Like as a man, you wanna kind of know that it's like, hey, I'm really working hard too. I'm out here hustling, and then that qualifies me.
Yeah.
Although I would say probably the problem that men would have, and this would be insightful for women, is that they might downplay their successes. You know what I mean? Where they're like, yeah, I know I've done this, or like, I know I'm working hard here and I understand that to be true, but I don't think it's recognized like that. So maybe I need to work a little harder
Sure.
and go a little further, or, grow my business a little bigger
Sure.
before I feel secure enough to just
So what I'm
Go
hearing you
after a
guys
10.
say is that a confident man is not going to be intimidated by a confident woman. But a man who is not confident is, of course, going to be intimidated by a woman who is. But I feel like that would go vice versa as well. Okay, interesting. I feel like I should almost back up and say,
let me say this. I think it's easier for a confident guy to go after a girl who's maybe unsure, who's a little less sure, because it's like, hey, I feel like I see value in her that maybe she doesn't see in herself. And I think I can, give her, like, show her how valuable she is and bring out the best in her. And I feel like a guy could walk in with that kind of mentality and really pursue, a woman a little more easier than, wow, she's crushing it.
like, almost drawing out her value in his pursuit.
Yeah, absolutely.
Whereas that's not necessarily the role of the woman, because she is there to be pursued. Okay, interesting. I really want to pivot into this idea that men are visual. I feel like we hear that all the time, as men are so visual. Women should dress like this because men are visual, or, fill in the blank. Everyone says it in plain terms. When someone says men are visual, what does that actually mean?
To me, that means when I was dating Allie, there was a period of time in our relationship where we had already been dating for 7-8 months. And we had been friends for a year before then. And we got to the point where, and she's fine with me saying this, she posted an Instagram video about it, whatever. So,
I saw that.
Yeah. So, but we got to a point in relationship where she was wearing the same clothes every single day. And she wasn't like doing her makeup. She wasn't like preparing herself. And what that was communicating to me was, hey, I don't value myself. It's not worth me taking the extra time to take care of myself, my needs. And so for me, when I would ask her, hey, let's go on a date, and it's spandex and a crop top t-shirt and same pair of Converse every single time, to me, that just communicates, hey, I'm not going to put in effort. And so
Sure.
I think when we talk about visually, I think it means to me, like, that doesn't mean you need to wear Louis Vuitton and Gucci and Prada and be dressed to the nines, but it does mean, hey, when you take care of yourself, that communicates that you love yourself, which also is how you're going to treat me.
Sure.
I want to say this. First off, you're absolutely right. I also want to say that there is I think from the woman's perspective, I think there's this idea that maybe if they're confident, they know their worth, they know they've got strong character, strong morals, that they can be so secure that they can reduce the physical out of the idea of, oh, that's vain. That doesn't actually carry weight. Mm-hmm. Whereas I think, kind of what Elijah's saying is that it communicates, like the exterior communicates, like, wait, I'm taking care of myself. I'm going the extra mile. I do care about the way I'm presenting myself. And I think it's extremely valuable.
I do think that there is a mindset that women have, and you're kind of hitting on it, which is, if he really loves me, he would love me in sweatpants and a messy bun just as much as he would love me in, if I'm dressed up and really like putting a ton of effort in. And I guess what I'm hearing you guys say is, it's not about whether I love you or not. Yeah. It's more about, do you value you?
Yeah.
But can you imagine a man having the same conversation with themselves, where it's like, hey, if she loves me, I don't have to pursue her. I don't have to get out there and make money for the family. I don't have to keep the lawn clean. Like, those are trivial things, right? Like, if a guy went down that slippery slope, a woman would absolutely destroy him.
That's so true.
Valid. That's valid.
It feels interesting too, because I feel like a key question that you were talking about in a woman's heart, not that I know from personal experience, but just seeing it, it's like they're asking that question of unconditional love. Will you love me with the messy bun? It's like, yeah, that's important. But what Elijah said is so good, because I think even for my wife and I, probably both of us, we love when we see the other one working out or dressing up or just taking good care of ourselves, because it communicates, oh, I'm in our relationship. I'm bringing the best of me. So it's kind of like you're not actually asking that identity question at that point. You're able to kind of move past that and go, no, I know you love me. I know I love me. Cool. Now let's actually just be intentional with our lives. Let's actually show up and bring the best of ourselves. That's why I like to dress nice. That's why I think my wife, and I'm like, oh, I like to appreciate that in her, because I go, oh, like we just had a baby, so it's not the most glamorous all the time right now, but at post that kind of stage feels like, oh, we're showing up again. Here we are. Oh, cool. We're bringing the best out in ourselves, which naturally kind of attracts the best in another.
Oh, yeah.
And I would say too, like, if you go too far on either way, whether it's you're dressing to the nines all the time or you're in a messy bun sweatpants all the time, there's problems on both ends. And I dated a girl before I married my wife, and every single time we went out, it was high heels, dressed to the nines, and it was like, okay, that's like another level of something that I like. I'm not interested in being with someone who wants to dress to the nines every single time, every single minute, cares about their hair, like to a point where it's unhealthy. I also really value being able to take my wife on a date or my girlfriend on a date and her not showing up in sweatpants for the past 8 months.
Sure.
So I think for both sides, there is a happy middle where it's like, I'm happy. I love you no matter what. But it does communicate
Totally
something to me when we do take care of ourselves.
I want to get back to the heart of this question about men being visual, because I think that this topic is brought up a ton when it comes to how men notice women in a lustful way. So it's kind of like how much truth is there to men are so visual, women should be careful about what they wear to protect the eyes of men? Like, how much do guys actually notice about how other women are dressing? And I would put this question before marriage and after marriage, because it's like all of you said, it's false that a man stops noticing other women after he gets married. And so obviously you have eyeballs, you see other women, and I'm just wondering how much truth is there to men are really like, it's almost a trigger when a man sees a woman dressed in a provocative way.
My thought is, what is it triggering? And that's the burden that's on the man, because if you allow, because you can't escape, maybe a woman who's dressing,
Provocatively.
Yeah, provocatively. You can't escape that. You're going to find it. But where is that trigger sending that man? Because a man who's managing their inner world is going to be like, yes, I notice. Yes, that maybe triggered me, but it triggered me towards bouncing my eyes. Or it triggered me towards reorienting, and reaffirming the love I have for my wife. Or does it trigger this fantasy? And so that's where I'm like, you know what? I do think, we can't control the world. I do think women, dress modestly, but at the same time, be who you are, be authentic to who you are,
Sure.
Wear what makes you feel good. And be aware that, hey, I don't want to be a stumbling block, but at the same time, I'm not going to dress in, 1910s,
1910.
Well, I kept going back. I was like 50s, 40, maybe 20s. I was like, no, they look good in the 20s, 10s. Who knows what they were wearing on the Titanic?
They look good. They look good.
That's crazy.
And so, you don't have to dress like you're on the prairie. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I got you.
And so
Denim skirt.
That's kind of a fad right now. Like the whole the trad wife movement. I think we've got a lot of people throwing it back.
I would say if I'm at a coffee shop with my wife and a beautiful woman walks into the coffee shop, my mind, I can't stop my mind from going, oh, that woman's beautiful. Now, it is my job as a husband and as of a man to manage the next thoughts that happen after a beautiful woman walks into the room. And
Sure.
so, especially when I was first married, I would go, oh, wow, I like that woman's shoes. And I would communicate that to my wife. That way I wasn't doing this fight on my own. She was
Sure.
able to go, oh yeah, she does have cool shoes. Boom. Okay. Transitions the conversation, rather than seeing some woman who is dressing in a way that's trying to get men's attraction in the wrongful way. She walks into the room. I see her visually. I then am now fighting this battle all by myself.
Sure.
And so
do you feel, I'm sorry, I thought you were done
No,
there.
go
I was
for it.
going to say, do you feel like saying that out loud? Like if someone who's provoking attention comes in and you're with your wife, do you actually feel like it dismantles the power of what she's bringing? If you're like, because I think that's happened to Ellis and I, and actually Ellis will bring it up most of the time because, I'm pretty good about punting it, but I'm trying to get better about saying things because I just feel like it's better to remove all mystery.
Yeah.
But Ellis will be like, wow, that girl, and I was like, yeah, I noticed that.
I think the in places where, like in that situation, it's so easy for us to see a woman who is trying to really get attraction in a wrongful way. It's so easy for us to see that and go, oh, my wife doesn't wear that, or ooh, like this woman is attractive, and then go down that little rabbit trail. But I think when we can bring as much clarity and honesty out and open ourselves, vulnerability, I should say, then it just erases everything.
So that's super interesting because I was going to ask you guys, how do you keep from comparing your wife to other women that you notice? And it sounds like the more you're actually able to bring things into the light or say something out loud, it almost dismantles the comparison thing. I'm wondering though, for the single guy who is walking through this and they notice someone, like think back 5 years before you guys were married, what do you do as a single guy to not go down that path in your mind?
I feel like it's practice for the marriage. I think it's the same kind of thing. You're learning to manage your desires, point them in the right direction. I'm not married yet. I'm single. Okay. I had this thought, just like Elijah said, you're trying to manage the next thought because you might have a thought come in. Wow, she's really beautiful. Sometimes it's not even a thought. It's like a feeling. Mm-hmm. You just feel attraction. You're like, whoa, okay, what should I do now? And yeah, especially when, like he was saying, when you're married, like, oh, you can say it out loud. Well, I'm like, if you're single, it's kind of weird to be at the coffee shop and be like, wow, that girl's really pretty. Just like, oh, okay. Or
yeah, good point.
Yeah, it's like, I feel really weird. Like, okay, like that might be strange, but like managing your desire, what am I going to do? Is the muscle that you need while you're married.
Sure.
So it's a great time to practice. You want a healthy marriage while you're single, learn how to manage that thing in you, manage the thoughts, where it goes. And if you mess up, you have friends, you got leaders, you got, you can take it to God, you can take it to people, just like you would take it to your spouse when you're married.
Sure.
Yeah, and I was gonna be like, it wouldn't be weird at all to, like, if you're at that coffee shop or whatever by yourself, to leave and call a friend and be like, bro,
I had a weird thought.
I saw a girl today at the coffee shop, like
Rocket.
She was doing all right, and then just open it up like that,
right.
rather than having these seeds of like.
And if it's like negative too, if it's like, hey, I don't actually, maybe this is. Here we go. I don't feel like it's sinful to feel like, wow, they're really beautiful.
Right.
I don't think that's at all weird. Married or not, I'm like, no, like they're really beautiful. It can become sin, or it can become really unhealthy as well when it's like, oh, that is going somewhere. Now I'm imagining things, or I'm jealous. I'm wishing my wife would dress this way. Or, if you're single, you're just like, oh, I started, lusting or having perversion thoughts. I'm like, totally, all that stuff. I'm like, that stuff is no good. Mm-hmm. Thinking that someone's beautiful, if you can hold it to that, like, wow, they look really nice. Totally. And then you move on. I go, that's a great skill. And then, but if you call your friend and you're like, hey, I let it get too far in me. That wasn't good. Hey, pray for me, check on me. Or I just needed somebody to tell to like, let that go and not let it hide in me.
It's almost distinguishing between the fact that temptation itself isn't sin, but it's what you do with the temptation that leads you to sin or not to sin.
Let me also say this. We're talking about being visual, and and obviously we've got a lot of like female listeners and stuff like that. I think something you can gather cheap attention from men by dressing provocative. I think what's really admirable is what takes more work. And that is, I'm going to draw the attention of men because I'm caring. I was going to say trying hard, but I know that has a bad connotation. But because I'm being intentional, the way that I'm dressing, and intentional the way that I'm showing up, intentional the way that I'm interacting.
Sure.
Like those are the kind of things where it's like, man, I'm really managing myself in a way that is not tripping anyone up, but it is communicating a certain attention.
So let's go to that word intentional. Because what does that mean for the woman who's listening who goes, okay, what does it actually mean to show up intentionally in a way that attracts the right kind of attention from a man?
I've been ready for this answer.
Okay.
First off,
Come on,
you
Danny.
need to be taking a shower. Okay. Second off, that your hair, look, don't show up smelly. Don't show up smelly. Your hair needs to look good. You need to shave your legs. You probably should get your nails done. You don't even have to go somewhere and get them done. That's what I like about Cutie Girl. I call her Cutie Girl in the background. I was like, Cutie Girl. That's what I like about Cutie Girl. She really takes care of herself in terms of she's always going to be clean. She's always going to smell good. She, typically has her hair in, something that's not just frazzled and crazy. Her nails are done. Her legs are shaved. Like there's nothing about. That's not easy. That's not default.
Yep.
Like you have to work for that. You have to try for that.
You're saying put effort in.
So
Yeah.
And then the other thing about intentionality is how can I dress in a way that communicates I want you to notice me, but doesn't communicate I want you to, just stare
Lust
my
after me.
Yeah, lust
Yeah.
after me.
I think one thing that every man who is healthy looks at when he does see a woman, he visualizes, because we are visual, he visualizes himself with that person. Now, if my wife, when I was in the season of dating, was wearing a crop top, showing her belly button, or bringing a low V-neck, I'm visualizing me with that person and going, is that what I want my wife to dress up like when we're together? Probably not. Like I now, when my wife is doing her nails, her hair is done, she's obviously taking care of herself. Or when we were dating, I'm going, oh yeah, that is the type of person who takes care of themselves, that obviously values himself. I want to be with a person that has a high standard for themselves. Same with her, to me as well. Like if I'm dressing like a pig, not
Define that,
shaving,
bro.
not wearing deodorant, she comes
Totally.
over to my house, it's an absolute disaster. She's gonna do the same thing.
100%. And I almost I can like see the comment section now is like men have to take care of themselves too. And I'm like 100%.
sure.
But this is a conversation
100%.
on how men are wired.
Well
Not
said.
on how women are wired. So we can get to that in a later conversation. Let's pivot just a little bit. So we've talked about how men are visual. I kind of want to talk about this idea that men are just constantly thinking about sex, right? This is the Moral Revolution podcast. So we've got to go there. That is a stereotype. Men constantly think about sex. Be honest with me. How many times in a day do you think sex crosses your mind?
Let me say this first. I remember hearing a study
Yeah.
where they were like, and I just heard it. It's not like I read it in a medical journal or something like that.
Cite
and
the
they're,
source
And they're
right
like,
now.
yeah, Twitter.
Yeah, all those times that you're casually,
Facebook, I don't know.
all those
They're-
times you're casually reading medical journals.
yeah. They were like, oh, the average man thinks about sex every 12 seconds or something like that. I remember reading that somewhere thinking, well, I don't think that that's true at all. Or maybe I'm
Am
not.
I not average?
Yeah.
Maybe I'm better than.
I'm
You're
above
below-
average.
You're below
above
average.
average. You take that wherever you want to. So, all that to say is I understand where that conversation, I don't know where that conversation came from.
Sure.
But I understand that it's in culture, that the idea is there that men only think about sex, that think that whenever, they're considering a relationship, the only thing on their mind is sex. And the reality is once you get into a relationship and it starts progressing, to say that sex isn't on your mind would be a lie.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Like and that's where men, obviously we have to control our inner worlds, and women, you have to be aware of, the variables that you play in that situation so that we can, set ourselves up for success. But I think on average, men aren't thinking about sex all that much. I think, what are we thinking about? We're thinking about AI. We're thinking about the Roman Empire. We're thinking about, all food, like all of these things, right?
Sports.
I would have to disagree.
go on.
Okay, go ahead.
I would
Let's hear
say, if I'm being honest, I I'm like, I'll be driving my car to the coffee shop. My wife will text me and I'll go, oh yeah, I'd love to have sex with her. Or something like I do think about it often.
Okay.
I don't know,
12 seconds?
not every 12 seconds, but for sure.
13 or 14 maybe?
Yeah, probably 15 would be preferable. Definitely more than 5. But yeah, I would say I go throughout my day and I'm like, oh yeah, I'd love to be with my wife
Okay.
right now or think about it or whatever.
I think that goes back to the earlier, maybe true or false thing that we were talking about when we were talking about basically sex drives and stuff like that.
Sure.
So, or men's sex drives being higher than women's, or what, I forgot what the exact question is.
Sure.
But I think there's definitely a spectrum.
Okay.
Obviously, Elijah over here is big alpha sex drive energy.
It comes in seasons. There was a season where we were first married. We could go a month without having sex.
Wait, when you were first married? See,
Yeah, when we were first married, we would go a month without having sex. But then there was other seasons where we felt so connected. Our body, spirit, and soul were so healthy, and yeah, it was just like okay.
and she couldn't take her eyes off you.
Exactly.
It's
it
all
was just
she
like,
wanted
babe,
was
this is getting
you.
unhealthy.
Yeah.
It's interesting too, because I think like before you're married, how much is a guy thinking about sex?
Sure.
At least for me, I would have said I'm closer to Elijah's spectrum of like
Okay.
a little more often.
Okay.
I'm like, that was more common. Now that I'm married, when you can have it all the time or much more often, we can just, hey babe, let's go for it. You think of it less often if you
How
haven't had it
crazy
in a
is that?
while.
I feel like the single guys listening to this are like, no way. No way when I can finally have sex every day if I want to, am I going to think about it less?
If your wife has sex with you every day, that is awesome. That is crazy. I mean, wow, am I the only? Okay, you maybe I'm the only one that's not having sex with their wife
No.
every day. This is intimate.
No, we don't have sex every day.
Okay.
Y'all don't?
No.
Same.
I was like, wow, this is good. I needed to be on this podcast for me.
No, and yeah, and for clarity, you're right. Whenever you're single, for a man, sex is on your mind definitely
24/7.
more often.
Sure.
Every 12 seconds is excessive.
Okay.
I agree.
Okay. So what I'm hearing is when you're single, you think about it a lot. When you get married, you think about it less. What do you think are some of the expectations that guys have that they care about sex that they carry into marriage?
Wow, I'm sure there's a lot, and I think it also depends on if this man is looking at porn.
Yeah.
Because I think regardless if there's porn usage, I think that the average guy is probably thinking sex a lot. Like I remember me and Ellis, we had to fill out the Symbis assessment. The
Symbis is save your marriage before it starts.
Right, I was about to say that. But anyways, we had to fill it out, and it's basically like a blind expectation assessment for both of them. And then a counselor goes through it with you and be like, oh, well, Daniel, she thinks you're going to take out the trash, but you think you're both going to take it out. Let's talk about that. You know what I mean? So sex was one of the questions. I'm proud to say that I tried to have the most sober mindset that I could going into it. And Ellis tried to put herself in my shoes. So I was like, and we're going to the newlywed side. But anyways.
I think expectations are based off your past experience. So if your past experience is filled with porn and everything that is happening on, porn websites, then that is what your expectation is going to be for marriage, which is where it becomes unhealthy.
Sure.
But if you have a really healthy expectation of what marriage and sex looks like, then most likely you're going to have a healthy expectation for what that looks like.
And probably more satisfaction
For sure.
in your sex life
because your
married.
expectation
Joy.
is more built in healthy reality rather than fantasy.
Yeah, and it's the combination of the two ingredients you're bringing together.
Yeah.
Because everyone's sex life is different. And
1000%.
and so it's like what works for us, what feels right for us. And
So you guys have delineated between whether or not you have healthy expectations or unhealthy expectations leading into marriage. For people who are single now, what do you think is a healthy expectation to have?
I think one of them, and this at least in my own story for my wife and I, surprised me because
Okay.
I would have considered myself a pretty healthy person. And I thought our marriage was healthy from the get-go. I'm very happy and proud about that. But I think in the area of sex, I probably wished somebody told me like, you kind of need to let it be whatever it is. There's an element of expectation of like, we don't know what it will be like. It's going to be like you and your wife. My wife's Rachel. Her and I, we're going to have a healthy relationship. Healthy sex life is going to flow from the wiring, who we are as people. So
Sure.
it's going to look different than other marriages. We asked a lot of people a lot of questions. I think that was great because it gave us a lot of stuff. But we were well set up for success. But I just think I had some ideas of like, it's probably going to be like this, it's probably going to be like this. And I'm like, I probably needed to be told like, it'll just be what it is. And as long as you're staying connected, you're having fun, both of you are feeling like you're winning, that's awesome.
I don't think we can overemphasize how important it is what you just said.
Yep.
Because I think especially, I can only speak from the man's perspective, single men can go into marriage expecting sex to be one thing. And then especially if you don't have a sexual history, and then once again, there's the extra variable of, did you look at porn? Then the reality of what sex is can be very disorienting.
Totally.
And that disorientation can cause someone to be like, are we broken? Is everything normal? Did I marry the right person?
100%.
Or like going down that trail even more. It's like, oh, I married the one girl who X, Y, or Z.
Yep.
And I just think like, you're 100% right. No expectations. In fact, I think one of Ellis's friends said, hey, I just want to give you some advice leading into the married season, really. She's like, your sex life is just that. It's a life. It starts small. It grows. It develops into
That's
what
great.
it is of its own. So you can't, just like, whenever you have kids, you can't project who you want them to be or blah, blah. They grow into their own individual.
Yeah, you can't expect a baby to be fully grown and mature.
Yes.
Yeah. So, I mean,
Yeah.
if we're talking about, yeah, you're right. You can't.
Or like what their personality is going to be like.
Sure.
Like your sex life kind of has like it's your guys' personalities put together.
Right.
And there's, I'm sure, unhealthy ways to do that, but there's so much of it of how it becomes that is really a joyful process if you're open-handed and you're like, oh, I want to connect. I want us both to enjoy each other, feel connected, bonded. There's so much beauty and pleasure in that. If you're trying to make it something,
Yeah.
if you're like, oh, it doesn't feel like I thought it would, and then you spend time and energy trying to make it what it was, which could have come from a fantasy or could have just come from what you thought. Nobody told you.
Yeah.
Sure.
I think leading with curiosity and
great.
having the expectation be discovery, like things like that are going to set you up as a single person. Things like that for men and women, not just men. We're talking about from the guy's perspective, but men and women, the goal being discovery, curiosity, connection. If you make that your North
And
Star,
service.
in service,
Yeah.
then you
Great.
really set yourself up for success.
Yeah. Let me ask you guys this, because I think, everyone goes into marriage, healthy or not, with expectations. What happens when you get to marriage and there's a mismatch of sex drives? Like how do you approach that? How do you think about that? Do you process as a man, if your sex drive is higher than your wife, is that a rejection? Like what's kind of the thought process around a mismatched sex drive in marriage?
In my mind, everything comes down to we chose at the altar that we were going to serve one another. And so there will often be times where my wife comes to me after work or whatever and comes up to me and is like, hey, I would love to have sex with you. And I'm probably not in the mood at all. But if she's communicating to me a need and I'm able to fulfill it and it doesn't take much of my time, then for me, I can just position myself in, hey, yeah, I would love to take care of that need with you and connect with you in that way.
Sure.
I think it can become unhealthy when there's one person in the marriage who, oh, I always want to have sex and you never want to have sex with me, that's openly communicated, you're now labeling that person as the person who isn't wanting to connect with you in this way, rather than going, hey, we've decided we're going to serve one another. There's going to be a million times in our marriage of 80 years spent together where you want to have sex with me and I don't, but I would love to just serve you. I would love to take care of your need and meet your need. I don't know if that can happen every single day, but I think if I'm willing and able, and that's what I would say.
Great. I feel like for most marriages, I would assume, and you guys could correct me in your own experience if it's different, I bet more than half the time there's a difference.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like it would be weird if you guys were like, man, we always, we never want to have sex when we never want to have sex, but we always want to have sex. We both are always on the same page there. I'm like, that feels
Unrealistic.
for sure. So I'm like, surely you're going to be there. But that idea of like serving one another, I think it's healthy to realize like, oh, because I think sometimes, especially when you're single, you can kind of think like, when we're going to be married, it's going to be awesome. Sex is a 10 out of 10 every time. And I go, sometimes it's a 10 and that's awesome. But hey, it's like, sometimes it's not a 10, but it was awesome. And sometimes it was like a 2 or 3 and you thought, that's okay.
We'll get them next time.
We'll get them next time. That's great.
Next time.
Yeah, literally. And so
Let's
I'm
get
like,
back out on the field.
come on.
Hold our heads high.
Come on. Yes. And I think
The single mind cannot comprehend a 2 or 3.
that's true.
They're like, that. How does that happen?
That's true. And I also think, like that idea of like serving and loving, it's so special.
Yeah.
It's wonderful. Is it awesome when you're both on the same page and you're both like, let's go? I'm like, that's amazing. Sometimes though, one person is serving and loving the other. It's the beauty of marriage. It's why you want to be married, because you want to have someone that's going to choose you and love you that way.
Yeah.
And often it does end up, I find myself often when I'm not in the mood and my wife comes up to me and is kissing me, hugging me, doing something, it then does something in me where I'm like, oh yeah, let's go. Like, I think that often when I position myself in a way where I'm like, hey, I want to serve you, it then opens up myself into a level of vulnerability to be able to, be connected in a way where we would both say, oh yeah, we're both fired up. We're ready to go.
I don't want to out myself here because I don't know if I've told this to my wife, but I've kind of
We'll
told
send
myself.
her the link to this podcast.
Yes, you should.
But I don't even know what you're going to say, but I think we will all relate to what you're going to say.
All I know is I have started to think, and maybe this is the man brain, but if she's ever asked or wanted sex and I haven't been in the mood, I've started to tell myself as a more experienced husband, like, you'll get there.
Yep.
Like
1000%.
It's like, I'm really tired. And I'm like, you know what? Let me serve and love you. And at least for the guy, I'm like, most of the time I can lock in within a couple minutes.
I feel called to a life of servitude.
I'm here.
1000%.
I'm here.
Oh my gosh. Okay. So this idea of mismatched sex drives and kind of transitions us into how men process rejection, right? Because if your wife turns you down, I kind of want to know what that does in the mind of a man. Like if a man's getting turned down regularly, and I'll even put this, it could be within the context of marriage, like a man is getting turned down for sex, but maybe it's like before marriage and it has nothing to do with sex, and a guy asks a girl out and she turns him down. Like I just want to know, what does rejection do in the mind of a man?
I think that there's not a single answer for that one question, because some men thrive off of rejection, which then fires them up to get a yes. And then I think some men do get rejected and then shut down and then are really afraid.
Get discouraged.
Yeah, they're really afraid to go and try again. I think in marriage, if you can come back to that service part and you're both on the same page with that and meeting each other's needs, then handling the hey, I want to have sex with you really bad or whatever, and she goes, hey, I can't because I'm super busy right now. It doesn't feel as it doesn't feel as painful because I know we're both on the same page with serving one another.
Sure.
But if we're not on the same page with, hey, I want to serve you, you want to serve me, and you didn't take out the trash, and you didn't do the dishes, and you didn't make the bed, then that hey, let's get on the same page service part just turns strictly into resentment and rejection.
Yeah, I think rejection can be very motivating until it's debilitating.
Yeah.
Okay, so
You know
where's
what I
the
mean?
line?
Well, I think everyone's tolerance is different. And I think, once again, we're speaking from a very high level perspective, not a specific situation on I'm married and I asked for sex and she said no. You know what I mean?
Sure.
So this is just like the generic truths. But I think that, you know, embracing rejection is essentially embracing hurt or embracing offense. It's kind of it's they're all cousins. They're all kind of related emotions, and I don't know how you would parse them exactly, once again, from this scenario. But I saw Dr. Henry Cloud said this. He said the more secure a person is internally, the less easy it is for them to get offended.
Mm-hmm.
And so, and I think that that's true whenever we talk about rejection, where the more secure I am, I can take more degrees of rejection and use it to become a better version of me.
That's great. I think as a single person, if, like you're saying, the more secure, the healthier single person can get knocked down, and it's not going to shape them. It can encourage them, or they know how to get help if they're, hey, that actually really discouraged me. Maybe you know, I liked my wife for 9 months before I asked her out, and then I asked her out.
You really slow played it there.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And that's a whole story, which we won't get into all that. I love that story, honestly. But
We should get into that later, though.
Yeah, we should. And we go to coffee. Best coffee. 2.5 hours, laughing, fun, awesome. At the end of it, and she goes, well, and I knew it was coming, and she just shoots me down. It was just like, hey, you're one of my, this is the phrase, really good guy friends. And I was like, sick. That's awesome. I asked her out again in the moment. I said, well, thank you for sharing that with me. I just appreciate you being really honest and upfront. I know this might sound kind of weird, but I would actually still love to take you on another date. And she was just stunned. She was like, that's not how I was expecting that to go. And then I said, do you want to text me? And she's like, yeah, I'll text you. She sends me an audio message 2 or 3 days later, says the same thing, same pitch. I know it's practice, because she goes, well, gosh, you're just one of my really good guy friends, and then kind of rips the other bit. And I was like, okay, cool. But in my heart, I'm thinking like, oh, this stinks. And then when I would be around her for the next couple months, because we both worked here at the church, challenging, not fun to like be around her, because I'm like, I'm still trying to like kind of hang around and be present. And she was not into it. And so she would just leave group conversations or like walk away. I got funny stories about that anyway, but that was not a fun experience for me. But I'm like, I'm not even thinking about how it's making me feel. I'm thinking about like, oh, I'm going to stay in this. Like, I think we had a great coffee, and I liked you for 9 months. Like, I'm pretty sure like this is a good thing.
We know the chemistry is there. You just got to jump in the beaker.
Well, I literally, I had the
lab.
craziest thoughts of like, why is she not into it? I can't figure it out, because we're like hanging, we're laughing, we keep talking. I was like, what's not there? I thought so many things I shouldn't even say, but I was like, I don't know, maybe I'm just not her type. And so whatever, it ended up working out for us. But I think in the single person, I go, rejection for you, it can sometimes tell you where you're at in that healthy place of like, oh, if it's crushing and you go into depression and you're like shutting down, you're relapsing into things, or I'm like, if you're having intense stuff like that, I go, hey, like this might tell you like, we're not a super healthy person right now. Let's get some help, talk with some people, talk with Jesus, and actually figure out, why did that rock my boat so much?
I think unpacking as much of that as possible.
Yes.
Where you're pulling as much out, trying to figure out, why did that crush me? Why did that knock me down? And what do I need to do to build back stronger?
Yeah, and it's not fun. I don't care who you are. Nobody likes the feeling of like that that, oh, I got told I can't have what I want, or no, I like you and you don't like me, or you don't even want to give me a coffee. You don't even know. We can't even go hang out for like an hour. Like it's an immediate no. You're like, am I just that messed up? Do I look horrible? Like, I'm serious. Like, guys, do you have those thoughts? You're like, whoa, that was like, you said no to like an hour walk. Okay, shoot. I need to figure something out. Like I don't know. It can be intense like that. But I think in like the marriage side for, sorry, I feel like I'm talking a lot, but
No, this is great.
This is great.
on the marriage side of like rejection, it's like another opportunity to connect. It's another opportunity to learn to love in the same way that I can prefer you. I can know like, oh, you're going to love me and I'm going to be taken care of. I get to actually keep showing up for you even if I don't get everything that I want. You want to have a life partner like that isn't like making demands and always has to have it. And they're crushed and destroyed if you say no. I'm like, that would not be fair. If my wife, I'm like, babe, can we like get down tonight? And she goes, oh no, I'm exhausted. We just had a baby. No. And I'm like, oh my gosh. Like, I can't, like, oh, it's terrible. Like, it's awful. And I start freaking out. I'm like, that would be like, yo, I need help. I'm not healthy.
Yeah.
So I think, I feel like that rejection barometer, similar thing, it helps you know if it's unhealthy.
You know, I feel like a lot of times rejection is tied to this fear of not being enough.
Yeah.
And I'm just wondering how the women in your life, whether it's your wife or before you're married, a girlfriend or something like that, how can a woman speak to a man where it kind of gets to the heart of that fear of like, I'm not enough?
You could say it.
I was gonna say
like,
clear
I just want to let you
communication.
know you're enough, but not for me. No, I'm joking. That's terrible. No, but you're right.
Ugh.
I love how we all went to the same place. We were like, I mean, you could communicate that. That would be a great start.
Yeah.
That was our story. Similar to you was chasing my wife when we were just friends for 9 months and she wasn't interested, but she was interested. She was telling everyone she wasn't interested when deep down she was interested. And that was just because she had a ton of fear.
Sure.
And so when she finally was like, hey, let's go for a walk and was able to communicate her fear, I was able to go, okay, you're afraid that X, Y, and Z will happen. So why not I show you that this is a safe place? And so once she was able to communicate what she needed, I then was able to meet that need rather than us just guessing for the next 9 months.
Sure.
Yeah.
So it's almost like if you're the person who's experiencing the fear, you have a responsibility to say, I'm scared here. Like I have this fear. And then it's on the person who's responding to be able to speak to it.
If your fear is actually accurate, in the sense of if you are self-aware enough to go, oh, the reason why I'm saying no to Timmy is because I'm afraid
Love
that... Timmy. Yeah, I love Timmy. I'm afraid that
Timmy's 7,
he's not going to
so-
be able to manage my emotions.
Yeah.
If that is actually true, then yes, communicate it. But
Yeah.
if you're communicating that to Timmy, but it's not actually true, you just don't want to actually date Timmy, then yeah, I wouldn't communicate that.
Timmy should go by Tim.
Yeah, I think
I'm going to say Timmy's
he's
first issue is we
midlife
just
crisis,
need to-
Corvette, 50 years old,
That's crazy.
whatever.
we love you, Timmy, wherever you are. We
Yeah.
love you.
Oh no, I didn't even think about
Somebody's
that.
named Timmy and they're listening. And we
There's
actually,
a Timmy in the chat who just changed his
Elijah
name.
did not bring that up as a joke on Timmy because we like the name Timmy. Daniel did.
Daniel does
It was
it.
actually Daniel.
I just like joking. I actually have no connection to the name
In
Tim.
In case you have not
Timmy.
noticed, Daniel is a troll 99%
I really
of the time.
I need to calm down a little bit because I think there is some great depth here. It's got to come
Well,
out.
maybe we can give the Timmys in the chat like a discount code on a moral rev course or something.
We've got
like that.
some, and I'm glad you brought that up.
Just type in Timmy 10, which is 10% off.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I don't work
Okay.
here. I'm not sponsored. I cannot give any
Timmy
discount
10
code.
are going to give you some
If that
discount
code
for
does
the
not
disc.
work for you, don't.
I'm as shocked as the next
Yeah,
guy.
yeah,
You know what? On that note, I think we should land the plane. Here's the deal. I appreciate you guys coming, shedding some light on just like how do men think? What's actually going on in your head? What are some of these long-standing stereotypes that we've had around men? Are they true? Are they not? I think that
Thanks, guys.
we're learning. There's a reason the stereotypes are the stereotypes. However, it's not the same for every guy. And so anyway, thanks for joining us. I will say we do have a course called Date Well. So if you're listening to this and you're like, wow, I think there are, kind of some of the things that Saul talked about. There's like, maybe my inner world is not quite ready for a healthy relationship. Maybe there are some things inside of me that I really need to go after. We have a course for men and for women. It's called Date Well Men or Date Well Women. And so we'll put the link in the show notes for that. We encourage you to dive into that. Our entire goal is to see more young men, young women dive into healthy relationships and God's design for marriage and family. And so the prerequisite to a healthy relationship is a healthier you. And so we would love for you to dive into that. And thanks for joining us today. We will see you next time. See you guys. We do this show for one reason: to equip you to walk in wholeness and freedom. We're not here to preach at you. We're here to meet you where you are, to ask hard questions, have awkward conversations, and pursue God's design for sex and relationships together. So if there's something that you're wrestling with, a topic that you want us to tackle, or a question that you've been afraid to ask, leave a comment and let us know. This isn't just our show, it's yours too.